Now, Mr. Maake, on the yesterday, the president addressed the Polokwane conference, and stated that he's actually a businessman. He's actually a farmer. He's conducting business in the area of farming and buying and selling of animals. Now, what do you make of that declaration? Boldly, the president running the state, running the country, saying that I'm actually a businessman.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It takes me back to when Ramaphosa was brought in as the deputy president under Jacob Zuma's late. I remember very well that when this question arose, he was told that no, you will simply have to declare interests that you have, as ordinarily members of parliament and cabinet do the same. They simply declare. And I think that is exactly the crux of the question you asked before. Conflating public and private operations or business. At some point, a councillor comes as a councillor. But when he appears on front of the people, or she appears, this councillor is wearing a regalia of a political party. But he's coming to address people on official state business. Okay, let me not say councillors, but let me say a mayor. Let me say a premier. Let me say a person who's in the government structure, a minister. You know, so such a person is not supposed to conflate business and private. Remember the incident involving the radio presenter of Ikosi and the Premier Sihle Zigala. There was a scuffle, there was a fight. This one says this one assaulted me, and they counter open charges against one another. But the point I'm trying to make is, if there was clear distinction between private and public, between party and government, then there really wouldn't have been such incidents. Sometimes when they go there as DA, they go there as ANC, they go there as EFF, but they are attending a government event where they should deal with government business, and the government involves every one of us. And I'm speaking about citizens and non-citizens. So in South Africa, we have this serious problem. In the US, if you run for president, you resign all your private activities, except that you are a husband, probably, you are a wife, you are a family man. That is an immediate issue that you cannot divorce yourself from. But the fact remains, Jacob Zuma's issue in the state capture of ethics, private members' ethics committee, ethics code came into the picture, where family members of the president are seen inside government business where they are not supposed to be. Why? Because in South Africa you have a problem of distinguishing private and public. There is a public person and a private person. So we need to really take this thing on very seriously, head on. That maybe come with a rule like the one in the US. When you run for public office, resign all your private entities, businesses, you resign them. And then you can resume them later on.
So what would be the difference between resigning and declaring, as the president says that, no, I have declared my business interest?
Declaring means you can continue doing them as long as we know. And that is why he's so involved. Although he says media reports, some are saying he was not there. But he's involved, he's defending it. He's making statements. Remember the 500,000 issue with the son?
Yes.
Remember, I was not there. Certain people were doing the fundraising. In the CR17 campaign, I was not there. This is what we would wish to hear. I am not involved. I am not there. There are other people running them. I'm in the office. Then it becomes a bit clear. But once you are declaring, you are just simply declaring you are in conference in Malawi or outside the country, yet you know about what's happening in your farm. You can even tell us, no, the money is not that amount, it is actually less. How do you know? So it means that you are involved. Daily activities, what is happening, you are involved. Remember, there are certain statements allegations that monies were under carpets, monies were under pillows, but the fact of the matter is the 500,000 stashed in a plastic bag in a conference is back. Is back to haunt South African politics. To say that your leaders, your top people, your top officials drive around with booth in their cars, with booth in their briefcases, with booth in their hotel rooms, and intelligence people who have information, they know about it. And that is why, Mr. Fraser, we wouldn't be surprised, some of us, because we know that such people, they have an eye that you and me cannot have. You have 4 eyes now, I have 2. They have the 5th that you and I cannot even have. So it is a serious concern, Mr. Modise, that needs to be dealt with. South Africa, we need to be clear on separating private person to public person, political person to government person.
And it would make you wonder that now that the president has declared that he's a businessman, now one would wonder that when he's addressing, is he addressing us as a businessman?
That's the thing.
Or as a president?
That's the thing.
And when, does he
divorce himself from certain things and certain interests? Look at Glencoe issue. Look at the issue of Eskom. The coal supply issue, the issue of unbundling Eskom, doing this, manufacturing this side, distribution this side. You remember those 3 stages?
Yes.
EFF says no, this is only done to remove certain individuals so that a certain faction can be brought in and they must make money through load shedding, providing coal and what. We would like to say, some of us, there's no data. But looking at what is happening, Mr. Modise, it tells you that we are not really taken to confidence into what is happening in this country. You need people who, if you are a businessman, be a businessman. If you are a politician, be a politician. But the problem is, it should not be only about President Ramaphosa. The political class in South Africa, the new elites. The new elites are politicians and businessmen at the same time. Of course, majority of them are simply tenderpreneurs. They know nothing about business. They make money through tenders, and they confuse that with being entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur is someone who's astute in business, who produces things, who develop things, who manufacture things and distribute and sell and pack. It's a lengthy definition. Economists know it better than me. But these ones, tenderpreneurs, do not fall into the category. That's why the only thing they do, they spend the money. Ramaphosa is an astute businessman. There's no doubt about that. Whether if other people can agree with me, that's a debate for another day. But the fact remains, he did not make his money only through politics. He came into politics having money already. And that is why this stint of being a businessman does not go out from him. So which means he needs to decide. For me, if you ask me, this is a topic for another day. I hope we might have a session on that. Running for the second term was not a good move for him, or wouldn't be a good move for him. Because the eye is really on business. And then politics, it was just for certain reasons that I might not really delve into right now. But the fact remains, he cannot divorce himself from business. He's a man who loves business. I don't know if you remember, I've noted him very carefully. He said, people are criticizing the way I do things in business. They say they do not like the way I do business. In other words, I'm not good with money. That's what he said in that Polokwane conference. And yes, I stay in Garankuwa. I stay in a place where there is a rumor circulating that he mishandled business affairs of one legend, legend, Mr. Molefe. So if you want to be disassociated with such things, they say if you don't want your hands to be made dirty or filthy, then do not dance or delve into the pigsty, because you are going to be dirtified. So this is a dirty business. This is a rough business. Politics have its own roughness, but also the business world have own roughness. So I don't know how President Ramaphosa can straddle between the two. the dirtiness of politics and the harshness of business at the same time. Yeah, but the point of the matter is, I think even the issue of second term, with what is happening, what is still coming, people are threatening to spill the beans. Yes, his CR17 machine seems very strong right now, but the fact of the matter is, can they hold until 2024 with what is coming out, especially based on step aside rule?
He seems to be trying to place an emphasis on the fact that whatever happened at Phala farm does not in any way involve state money. He has not stolen any public money, and he has no intention of stealing public money. Is he, do you think by that is he trying to shift focus from the actual event?
When I look at the charge that is purported to be from Arthur Fraser, in this country, anything can happen. Someone can come out tomorrow and say it's not me. You know, it's Photoshop. But there are three things that I've noted. One, what was such an amount of money in foreign currency doing in that property? That's one. Was it declared? Did the robbery really take place? Then yes, there is a confirmation that the robbery take place. Where was it reported? No, the president gave it to his private security. No, that's not procedural. Because if the president was not there, then the VIP protection service is not there. You see, they are not guarding his property as they are guarding him when they are with him, because that is not a national key point. You see, that one, there has to be a private security that is providing security there. The third issue is the issue of foreign currency, the issue of the amount of money that one is allowed to have, the robbery that has taken place. Why those people were not taken through normal channels of security forces in the country, the police, because this is their territory, this is their terrain.
What is being protected?
What is being protected? Why it is like there's a cover up, which is the third element. Fraser raises the third element of cover up. So if there's cover up, then it means someone is hiding something. If I open this thing up, then people will see what they're not supposed to see. So it's better we close it up and we deal with it by ourselves. So it speaks to the integrity, it speaks to the truthfulness into the whole issue of renewal. Organizational renewal and fighting corruption. So if you want to fight corruption, yet you are appearing to be corrupt yourself, then you are not going anywhere.
Or covering up corruption.
You are not going anywhere. And Mr. Modise, remember, I know this may be our next point. The issue of step aside has showed us that the ANC is not only divided, is solely divided, so much that even step aside rule, there are different interpretations on step aside. It reminds me of Mensheviks and Bolsheviks group sides, you know, of the Russian party, because you can't have someone who says step aside means when you are charged, and someone from the very same party says no, step aside means when you are involved, you are alleged to be involved into corruption. When someone alleges corruption against you, you don't have to go to court. The mere fact that you are mentioned,
it calls for revolutionary morality.
Morality to think ethically, say, hey, but you know what? Now my name is mentioned there,
and it's not good.
Let me go and defend and clean my name. That was the original intention, if you can remember, from the National Conference. That was the original intention. That anyone who's associated, the ANC was saying, we don't want to be associated with corruption. We don't want to be associated with corrupt elements. Once you are mentioned, then step aside, go and clear yourself. It did not say once you are in prison. It's very clear when you are in prison, where how can you serve? Because you're already jailed. So, but people are spinning it around, they're turning it around, they're taking advantage of the fact that this is a party that is so divided, and it's a party that has so many people with so many skeletons. So no one is clean. So as a result of no one is clean, it becomes difficult for anyone to want to champion the cause of cleanliness and fighting against corruption. So that's very difficult. There were conferences, there are policy discussions.
Actually, on that note, I want us to jump into the second segment of our discussion, and which is overview of the ANC conferences that have taken place over the weekend and prior to that. But also staying with our this one. Now, do you think, given the outcomes of the conferences that have happened already, you had your Polokwane conference that pronounced on the Stanley Mathabata and them, which is Ramaphosa aligned. You had your Eastern Cape, Mabuyane, also Ramaphosa aligned. Earlier on, you had the Northern Cape. So, and you also had your regions that have taken place, Tshwane, Ekurhuleni. So do you think with the outcomes of these conferences, does President Ramaphosa stand a good chance December?
The balance of forces are evenly skewed or tilted towards CR for now, but it's not yet done. It's not yet over. You have a different pronunciation in KZN, where the former mayor is back.
And Ethekwini.
And then she is associated strongly with RET forces. You also have in Ekurhuleni, Mzwandile Masina. The president tried so many times. They like a term offensive charm, but to me it's not offensive, because it looks like he was trying to lure him into his side, and he looked like he was playing, dancing into the tune, but later on it emerged that no, he was not. Ekurhuleni, you could see that the slate that was there, it's what is called the RET slate. And in some provinces, Mpumalanga included Limpopo, you find that there is a mix. There's a cocktail of the CR17 and RET.
I think Johannesburg as well.
Yes, and that is a dangerous cocktail mix, because now it defeats the purpose of why did he come back the second term. Remember the first term, all of us questioned, why did he keep so-called obviously corrupt elements in his cabinet? There are people who were questionable already from the state capture issues, but he kept them. Instead of removing them, they were shifted around, and the idea was that to unite the ANC. But the issue is, how can you unite with thieves? How can you unite with corrupt people? Once you become one with a prostitute, the Bible says that, then you are also a prostitute. So there is no way that the clean can mix. Good and evil cannot mix. Dirty and clean cannot mix. Once they mix, the cocktail is bad. So by virtue of trying to win over Limpopo, you have Razilani Florence, I think. Ne? She was a mayor. You have a former mayor accused in the VBS scandal of sums of money. The issue was taken through security forces. I know that the Hawks were dealing with the case, but the problem with the Hawks and the NPA these days, once there are such issues, they never end in court. If you remember, VBS accused people. When it started in 2001, they were recalled. Some of them, they were even suspended. But later on, they were reinstated. Why? Because of these secret deals they make with the Hawks. And
the petition in their defense, the petition, I think, or the demand from the branches of the ANC in Limpopo was that these people have pledged to cooperate with the law agencies, and with subject themselves to organizational discipline, integrity commission, and so on. And I think they stayed over a considerable period. I can't remember the exact period, and no one approached them, and so on. And as such, the branches demanded that, since these people have voluntarily
submitted themselves
to the disciplinary processes, and nothing happened. So this translates into justice delayed justice denied.
Mpumalanga has
So they were then redeployed to their positions.
Mpumalanga has a similar case with Mandla Msibi, the one accused of murder.
Yeah.
The treasurer, so I believe.
Mm.
I think he was even elected in absentia.
Mm.
But what does this cocktail tell you?
Yeah.
It tells you that there are, in the long ANC, in the long time past,
Yeah.
there was the issue of hawks and doves in the ANC.
Mm.
Today you have angels.
Hawks and doves.
Yes. You had your Heri Gwalas,
Yeah.
you had your Chris Hannis,
Yeah.
who were seen as the hawks,
Yeah.
and those that are radical ANC principled people who wanted organizational discipline, high morale, high discipline. They did not want marbles. They were not playing marbles. No nonsense thinking. Then you had doves, those who say, no, man, comrade, if the comrade is misbehaving, no, man, just guide them. Take them to DC. After
Political
that, train
school.
them, political school. Take them to a conference in Libya. What a political school in Libya, in China, But there were hawks who said, no, this comrade must be put through proper discipline and be punished. Now you have another phenomena in the ANC that is growing very fast. The phenomena of angels and demons. These ones are angels. They must be treated like angels. Even if these angels have demonic horns, but they must be treated like angels because we want them to remain as angels. And then you have demons who now wear the angels' heads, So you ask yourself, but what is happening here? Why Obri Mashiti put this very well, that if you are bad enough not to associate with a certain group, or you are less bad, but you associate with a wrong group that is not wanted, you are going to be dealt with. Your character, ethics, morality does not depend on the actual totality of what you are doing. No matter, it's based on what gear are you wearing, which slate are you on, So if you are probably in the Ramaphosa slate, remember Oxcam the issue of those small makeshift mobile ambulances, he was involved. His provincial committee members were involved. There were many other things that have happened in that province, but because it's a Ramaphosa slate, it's a CR17 slate, nothing happens. But yes, it's an angel. But when there are when demons from the RT faction commit a slight offense, then the hawks will pounce on them tomorrow. So it's this thing of it's a serious problem. It's something that South Africa needs to deal with. And President Ramaphosa's second term ambitions, I can tell you, they depend on his astuteness, his straightforwardness in dealing with issues of accountability. Do not sweep things under carpet. Don't play hide and seek. Come out clean and tell the nation, level with us. Tell us, no, this is something that happened in 2020. Actually, I was not there. Let the police investigate. I did get a report. I actually was hoping to hear from the police. But once you want to defend it, you want to spin doctor it through your advisors, through your even office, really, that's not necessary. I know President has his own private offices. For example, those that are dealing with his private business affairs, they are the ones who should be dealing with this.
Now, do you think the outcomes of conferences so far, do they inspire confidence? The leadership that has been elected, that is your Tshwane, Kurulene, Polokwane, and so on. Do you think the outcomes of those leadership structures, do they inspire confidence in the ordinary people?
The issue is once ANC pronounces as ANC without looking into the impact upon the ordinary South African masses, then that is a problem. At this juncture, is there already. Mostly if you listen to the language of the report yesterday, they speak about, and delegates, they speak about we lost in 2021. We lost local government elections. We are afraid ANC will lose in 2024. So people are not looking into that issue critically. That we lost, we have learned a lesson. No, they are positioning themselves for power. They are positioning themselves for perks, you know, that are associated with being there, being a mayor, being in the council, mayoral committee, things like that, in the province, in the REC, you know. Now, once you do that, you are focusing on your own personal interest. You forget the masses at large. ANC never went out and asked people, ordinary South Africans, even if it's through Mbizo, even if it's through engagement with the public, they never done that. You can't go to your own conferences of your party and take decision upon us, and you come and you think that you are going to implement it successfully. You won't. So that is where a greatest disjuncture is, and then it looks like ANC is not willing to learn from that. It means the language of the ANC is not the language of the people. The language of the ANC seems to be antagonistic to the language of the people. It's not that time when the MDM was strong under the anti-apartheid struggle. No, it's not that time. Now you are in power. You are a party in power. You are a party in government.
In fact, that is actually exemplified by what has happened just over the weekend at 4 Ways, where Tshwane was electing his leadership. They met, you know, since we are told that from Thursday, in dealing with registration and accreditation.
Just imagine.
Same thing with Ekurhuleni.
Yes.
Same thing with.
Which means credentials that take days.
And the only business that gets that gets to be done at those conferences is credentials, election of leadership.
You see,
no
time for policy. No time for organizational renewal they are talking about. No time for unity and peace that they are talking about. No time for economic
development
or
recovery
plan. No time. You know, policies, when they become sloganized, then they are not action plan. That we can be saying that no, this policy was initiated by this problem. Now we are going to take this action. The resources we are going to apply are this and this and that. They are going to be applied like this, and then to achieve this and that as our aims and our goals, you know. And we'll see in time if we did not achieve. We'll do monitoring and evaluation and check that does this policy need to be reviewed, you know. But you can see these are simply slogans. These are simply themes. It's nice to say rural development and planning. It's nice to say district development model. It's nice to say urban renewal.
But also I don't know if you have anything to say about the quality of the membership of the ANC that attends these conferences, because in most for in Gauteng, ANC has lost all municipalities. And yet comrades get into the conference, a 3-day conference, and fight on the credentials, who must be here, who's supposed to participate, who's not supposed to participate, who occupies which position, who must not, which faction wins, which factions does not win.
Which slate emerge, which slate does not emerge.
Exactly.
And they are not based on anything or ideology or anything other than cause, chowing. We sing, you know, it's nice to sing for your supper, because at least you work for it. You know. But when it comes to issues of proper political direction, proper political understanding, you are so correct. The issue of the quality is interlinked with the outcome. Bad quality will produce bad products. So which means that the more you take to conferences people that are simply there to add numbers so that our slate can emerge, then you run a risk of taking people who do not even understand the party. You have people who don't understand ANC. I think if you remember in Polokwane in 2007, this is part of the things that were mentioned by Kgalema Motlanthe when he was an SG, that we need a political school. The ANC needs a political school as in yesterday. Because what we see here, it's not ANC. We see people wearing t-shirts of the ANC, singing songs, but they do not understand this organization. If they understood it, they wouldn't be behaving the way they are. Banning t-shirts of other leaders, swearing at other comrades, fighting physically with other comrades. Today, people are shot for just contesting councillorship. People, I mean, councillor is not even a member of government. You know, he's a deployee, he's someone you send, he's a messenger to the people. But they shoot this person as if he is there in the MMC or in the mayoral council. So the issue of quality of leaders points to the lack of leadership as well in these parties, not only ANC. Most of the political parties in South Africa, they do not have the quality leadership that is required to take this country forward. And for that reason, you are right, it's going to impact negatively on the policies that the government is having. Do you know that South Africa have immigration policy? But look at what is happening. You have porous borders, you have laws that are not implemented, you have Home Affairs officials who cannot even differentiate between themselves and practitioners, you know, immigration practitioners. There was a case, someone was sentenced 15 years. And this person is not a Home Affairs official, but the person would tell them what to do inside there because he would give them something. You have foreign nationals that get arrested in this country, having visas, having a lot of official papers that were printed by members of civil service in our country. What does it show you? It shows you that these are the fruits, bitter fruits of cadre deployment, where you deploy people who do not understand ethics, people who do not understand. I know there is Saga. I know there was a conference of Saga in recent time, maybe 3-4 months back, where they were trained about policies and everything, government administration. They are not interested in that. They are not interested, and they are there only just to sit, collect checks, salaries, go to the next meeting, come up with strike, demand increase. Tell me, for the workers in this country, especially public service, do they deserve any increase? You have load shedding crisis. You have water shortages, price increases everywhere. We cannot afford anything in this country.
We can't afford
petrol rises
excel
as they want. We cannot
excel cooking oil.
You can't. Then you ask yourself, if these people are our government, both as leaders and middle levels civil servants and those that you can call blue collar, every time when they strike, no, we want increase, we want this, we want that. Just imagine if ordinary South Africans, a majority as we are, if we can say you cannot run the government, sit down. We don't want to do anything until you sit down. You must resign. You know. So what I'm trying to say is that this juncture, what they are doing, looking at their own stomach, looking at their own personal interest, they do not realize, they don't see the bigger picture. South Africans in 2021 local government elections throughout the country, they have shown that what you are saying, we do not understand it. What we are telling you, you do not hear it. So there is a total disjuncture. It's just that South African politics is too elitist. It's done on a laptop. It's only ANC that I can tell you that they go to the ground. But when they go to the ground, they go for something else. They go to communicate messages that they want people to hear. And that is why their policies are never effectively applied. If they apply them, those policies cannot change the lives of the ordinary people on the street.
In fact, you have taken to your page and you have penned down that ANC policy is not a government policy. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yes, what I was thinking about I listen a lot to Padi Lehotla, their discussions, Kubule. I listen a lot to a lot of economics people, very much engaging indeed. When I listen to them and some of the political analysts interpreting or trying to understand and analyze ANC policies or government policies general, what I find is that the major complaint that many observers and analysts have is that the government makes policies, but ANC makes policies.
Mm.
Now there is that disjuncture that is not sorted out. You can't sort it out. You can't, because there are policy conferences now as we speak, and regional and provincial conferences of the African National Congress. Only party members can be delegates. Only party members can speak on this policy. Let me ask you, when do an ordinary member, an ordinary South African, speak on the policy of government? You cannot have that, because since 1994 you have a centrist system of policy making, except when Tata was still there, when Madiba was still there. You have an RDP approach of doing policy. You would remember he started the Imbizos. They would call people and come and speak. Your leaders want to speak to you in a public place. Would raise questions and ask in a Lekota type of a system. It's more democratic. It's where there is a face-to-face. Yes, it's been done, but only during election time. When they want to go for the elections, they pretend as if they come to listen what people want. They go back and do the policies.
But isn't
that
it
they
that
want.
exactly when they do that, they are consulting the masses, and out of that consultation, they package what you call a manifesto, an electoral manifesto, which forms a part of the 5-year plan.
Yeah, the thing is with policy, policy is an action plan. It's the short word. Policy is where the ones that are formulating policy are not necessarily the ones that are going to benefit from the policy. You know, look at how South African policy framework works. South African policy framework is centrist, which means you take experts, panel of advisors, economists, professors, those who wrote books on economics and what. But these policies must be applied upon ordinary people on the ground. So these ones, they are writing based on their research. They are giving you advice based on the research. You and me are speaking about issues at Phala Farm. But just imagine, we are using data that we have accumulated around. But imagine the person in the farm. Imagine the person next door to the farm. Imagine the eyewitness who may have seen what has happened. The story would be different. That is why someone once said, if the story in the jungle was written by monkeys and lions and the wild, then the hunter would change and the hunted would change, which means the storyline also will change. You know, but because of we want to be organized, we want to appear as if we know better than others, and we are the only ones who have the skill and the know-how, and this is why we are in a process, in a problem that we find ourselves in. Mine is to say, open up policy formulation process, open up, localize, let each and every locality develop what they call policy action plan of theirs that will respond to their own situation. Then you can cascade them down, you know, up until national. But you cannot do a top-bottom approach of policy making, and this is what is happening. The ANC makes policies and they want to bring them to government. Once they come to government as a white paper, they have already taken decision, they have resolved. The minister is a political appointee. Once he gets into his or her department, he brings the policy of the ANC. This is what the ANC have agreed upon. But what about what South Africa would have agreed upon? Can't we listen to what South Africa wants? Then ANC can craft whatever they want to craft, dress what we want with ANC colors, you know. But that's where the conflation lies. Today, if you recall in the state capture, 2 people appeared. Gweramantashe appeared as ANC. Ramaphosa appeared both as ANC president and country president. Why? This was to demonstrate to you the conflation between government and party. When he's asked questions, sometimes he switches. Cadre deployment policy, what can you say about it? No, it's a ANC decision. It has nothing to do with. I'm not here for that. I'm here to answer on government. So it's because of you do not clarify things. Let ANC do its policies and see how they can influence what is called government policy.
Yeah.
But once you make ANC policy government policy, it becomes a problem. And that is why the headline of my small article was that ANC policy is not government policy. So that you know that once you develop your policies there as the ANC, you are developing your vision for the country.
Yeah.
You are developing your visions for the state.
Mm.
But you are not the state, you are a political party.
Yeah.
A political party is ANC, DA, and what and what.
Mm.
But government is government.
Yeah.
So government must have its own policy making machinery, its own policy processing machinery. And then it can be influenced by some elements from ANC policies, DA policies, any policy, ASAPO policy, any policy, Action SA policy, Freedom Front, plus policies. But there has to be a clear distinction that this is government policy.
Yeah.
Not simply because it is written, signed by the president, accented to, stamped by government stamp page. No, not because of that. But it has to be to breathe the spirit,
in form and content.
Yes, of the people of South Africa.
Yeah.
But I think the original sin was 1994. Many things were taken away from the people since 1994. In 1994, you had a process where individuals like President Ramaphosa and Rolf Meyer, they were tasked with developing the South African Constitution.
Yes.
You see, even if there was a Constituent Assembly, but you need to be careful when individuals now take the responsibility of a nation, as if now the nation is blind, cannot say anything. So what I'm saying is that we need to change. Our policy formulation process should go back to policy making process of the RDP era, where people are consulted through civic committees. There are a lot of structures on the ground. You have structures like a policy forum. Once you want to develop a policy on local policy, definitely these peoples are the ones that you are supposed to have. Remember that structure that councillors like. There is this structure. What committee?
Yes.
Something like that. They should not only come when there will be elections. They must not come when there is manifestos. No, the what committee must be active, and it must be it must be alive. Must be alive. And once what committees are strong, and then they are not destroyed as they are today, where people come with T-shirts of their own party when he's a council, then he comes to address. Then people who are not members of that party will leave, because once they get there, people with the same T-shirt, they look around. Who's asking questions? If you ask questions and they believe that you are troubling their candidate, they can even kill you. They can even victimize you. Why? Because we have killed the spirit of differentiating between my party and the state, the party and government. So that's why there are political killings like this. There are hits because people do not understand that when I wear this T-shirt, then I'm a member of this party, and I'm dealing with my comrades and issues of our differences and our agreements as a party. Once I go into public service, then I'm now a public official. So we need to distinguish between private and public, also between party and government business.
Now, the state of the opposition parties. Your take on it.
I heard the comrade who was elected in Joburg. Dada. I heard Comrade Dada making bold statement saying that we are going to unseat the current leadership of DA. That coalition is weak. We've been talking when I was since a Secretary General. I can confidently tell you that we are almost done. We are going to remove them. Now, if you ask me about the state of opposition, state of politics actually in South Africa, opportunistic, based on positions, informed by stomach politics, than where the country should go. in regions, not only Joburg, you have politicians that are there just to determine who must be a mayor. They do not care who must be a mayor. Why? Because we can access tenders. You know, so it's like how can we access patronage? How can we access power, claim power, and dispense patronage to one another? Hence, at times you have EFF. You do not understand Malema. Malema at times is with certain ANC comrades. At times he's against the ANC. At times he supports Jacob Zuma. At times he says no, Jacob Zuma must not be supported. Mara, why is that? Depending on the side that the bread is buttered the most. Then that is when politicians, astute as they are like Malema, you'll hear them which sides they take. So there is no principle, there is no morality, there are no ethics involved, it's stomach involved. Comrades want to see themselves staying in plush houses. Comrades want to see themselves selling animals in their game farms, you know, and they have this popcorn mentality. They want to get rich very quickly. The lotto mentality, you know. So you need politicians that are serious. South Africa is on its knees, and for a country like this, on its knees as we are, crime is at the highest, food prices are at the highest. We cannot afford even bread, you know, staple food, bread, we cannot afford it. You have issues of unemployment at the most terrible state, 40-something%. Just imagine. Then you have leaders that cannot even think of an alternative plan. If Ramaphosa is not standing, if President Ramaphosa is not standing, you can ask this question to ANC members. Who is your alternative? You are going to have a lot of problems because the country suffers from lack of credible leadership.
Well, the tradition,
visible, vision driven.
The tradition has been that the deputy becomes the next in line.
But exactly what I'm saying, crisis, we limp into one crisis to the next. Imagine that scenario. I'm not the one who's saying it. I'm just I'm retelling what many people are saying and what we are reading around. That you know what, anything but not that man. Anything but not that comrade. Not that.
But you see, that comrade has been trusted for 10 years to lead this province
of disaster. Province of disaster.
Well, that one is something else. But the point here is that he's been trusted to lead Mpumalanga for 2 terms. He has been
and there was turmoil for 2 terms.
Well,
even now there's turmoil.
Well,
the first time we heard about killing of a mayor, if I remember very well, it was that side.
That province.
Yes. I'm not too sure. Between Rustenburg and Mpumalanga, but these are one of the two. It's but where we heard about the first.
Sadly, as it is, that situation is not only unique to
but it emanated there, and the virus spread across the country now. But the point I was trying to make is not really personal attack on any individual. I know it's not your aim as well, but just to say the quality of leadership. I think the question was, is our Deputy President David Mabuza a convincing candidate to take this country forward in case Ramaphosa does not make it? You know, does people that were elected in this provincial and regional conferences, is this the leadership that we can say it will take South Africa forward? I will tell you, they will not even take ANC forward. They will not even take the ANC forward, much less about South Africa. Because this party is in fracas. The party is in decay. The party is on its dying note. ANC is dying, and you needed people who can save the ANC, not their jackets, not their own personal interest. But unfortunately, there seem not to be such kind of people in that party. You have people who want to eat. You have people who say this is our turn to eat. They do not care really about the party. If you recall, at Limpopo, a young person was interviewed and he was asked, we hear that you have emerged, but people did not want you. And he said, yeah, but I'm only 40. I'm towards my 40s, and people wanted struggle credentials from me. He says, where am I going to get those struggle credentials? But you can see that there is a lack of understanding of a cadre. Even without within the party itself, who is a cadre? People think age factor, people think experience makes you a cadre. So the things that we read about comrades like Peter Mzala, you know, people who will teach you about cadreship. You can see that this generation of ANC people, they do not know these things. They do not even care.
Yeah, you see, you know, it's very sad. I was watching that interview, the very interview that you are talking about.
Yes.
And what came to my mind was the issue of through the eye of the needle.
Yes.
The base document of the ANC.
Yeah.
And you see the very first paragraph of the first page of that document says, to be a leader of the ANC should not be an easy thing.
Yeah.
You must have credentials appreciated by the community where you live, where you come from, and members of the ANC alike.
But we've heard of Molefes who were parachuted to certain branches of the ANC, and then now all of a sudden they are members of parliament. And when they were asked, which constituency do you report to? Then you are surprised that he belongs to a certain Joburg Santen branch. You know, that is not even known. So the point of the matter is, for as long as the quality of leadership in political organizations, especially ANC, is at the level as it is of opportunism and self-interest, organizational renewal, unity, what is that? There is this trying to build a party and a cadre. It's not going to be achieved because these are just words. There is no action on them. If delegates are bought, if I can pay for 10,000 people to accompany me to a conference, I pay for accommodation, I even give them some salary, you know, okay, not salary, but some income for doing that. Some stipends, you know, some miscellaneous, you know, you can call it whatever you want.
Well, if those things happen.
They do happen. There's no doubt about it. It's been reported, it's in public domain, that conferences are won that way. People buy votes. So it brings to focus, sharp focus, the issue of slates, the issue of people that are there as members of members. They are not even members of the party. They are coming to support Molefe. They are not supporting ANC and its policies. No, they don't even care. Who's there? We are supporting JZ or we are supporting Thabo Mbeki. That's all. That's how COPE was formed. Because people did not want to support Zuma. You know, we are living, we cannot be led by this one.
Now, with the opposition party, why do you think the opposition parties, like in Gauteng, I will talk of the ANC at the local level, is in the opposition side, opposition benches? Do you think it has done enough to, as an opposition party?
No, that's why I said that. That's why I said that there is a disjuncture. The message that the ANC is trying to communicate, the people do not hear it. And the message that the public, the people are trying to communicate to the ANC does not want to listen to it.
What would be the cause of that disjuncture?
Because those that are in office, they are not there to serve the people. The people expect service. They expect to be supported. Their needs, you know, service delivery as a core business of the local government. But local government does not give us water. Lights are always cut off. You know, switched off. There is load shedding, interminable load shedding. It doesn't end. And then you have also no water. And then if there is water supply, people are going to be short. Because some people will fight for that tender. Who should supply water? You know, jobs are not created. You know, government does nothing to ensure that the local people get jobs. Even if there are government departments and institutions in the locality, people from that area do not work there. People that come from other areas are the ones that get employed there. So this area, it's ridden in crime and drug abuse. There are no recreational facilities, but they pay services. There is a budget that is given to the municipality. So that's why I said there is a disjuncture. These ones are in the office to administrate that purse. You know, to eat that purse, to chow from it, and then not do anything to assist people that it is meant for. It's not only meant for salaries, but they always make sure that they get salaries, but they do not do service delivery. And that is why their language and the language of those that expect service delivery, they cannot understand one another. Now, that's why I said to you, then in South Africa, there is this missed eventuality. The missed eventuality happened everywhere. Who removed Bashir? It was the people on the ground, because they were tired. You know, who removed Mubarak? It was the people on the ground, because they were tired. What caused the so-called Twitter revolution? The Twitter revolution was caused by ordinary people on the street who were tired, not parties. The ruling parties in Africa, they never leave office until you fire them. They will never leave, because they are there to dispense patronage. So the language of the leadership we are talking about, you and me, they are elitist. They are a patronage people in a network of client and patron system, where for them is to enter power, dispense patronage to their networks. They do not care about people. Until the people realize that, then these people will remain in office. They will interchange. If you remove them from power, they make a coalition and they come back. Just as you hear the newly elected Joburg leader who's saying, no, we are going to come back through coalition. So by hook or crook, we are going to rule you. By hook or crook, we are going to rule you. We'll make sure that we rule you either way. And then it's because of the weakness in Action SA, the weakness in Freedom Front Plus, EFF, all this DA, all these so-called opposition parties. I'll tell you, they are not opposition. If they were opposition, they would have removed the ANC long time from power. There's been so much corruption, there's so much fights and division in the African National Congress. It's so disorganized that if there was a party that knew what it was doing and it was real opposition, it would have taken over a long time ago. So that is not going to happen, because the very same opposition parties, they agree with the business of the ANC. It's just that they appear as if they are clean. They are not. They all have scandals. They all use tender system that is being used by the same ANC. Actually, they are caught up in the very same tender corruption. They are caught up directly. And that is why they cannot defeat ANC, because they are just as the ANC is corrupt. So, which means there's no opposition. The opposition in South Africa is a suspended, hidden opposition.
Do you think this thing of Molefe that is trying to put together of electing direct, what do you call it?
No, that new policy.
The
new electoral policy proposition.
Electing people directly from the constituency, independent candidates. Look,
what section was that? I think that section of the Constitution that was ratified by the Constitutional Court, I do remember. It will not be effective that much. It will help a little. Because remember, 60% of the votes, of the seats in National Assembly, they are contested by in provinces, they are contested by political parties, and 40% by independent candidates. And until you deal with that element, you remove quotas, you remove percentages. You say that even an independent candidate like yourself and myself, I can be voted on the national ballot equally with parties. There is no party on a ballot paper. It's a person. Then there is direct election. We call it a presidential system. In South Africa, we are not using a presidential system where there can be a run between 2 or 3 or 4 presidents. No, it's a parties that are running. And then independent candidates like Musi and his colleagues, they will go on a ballot that will go for being ordinary MPs, and they will contest for 40% seats. So numerically, they are already defeated. You know, even if they can win all the 40%. You know, but parties are in the 40% and the 60%. You know, so in the 40% they come as individuals, but we know they are members of a party. So what we must do, they should have pushed for an electoral clause that says you destroy the 60-40 card. There is only direct election of independents. People stand as independents to be the president, to be in the National Assembly. We vote for a person, yes, not for a party. But the manner in which it is, it did not touch there. It did not come with the know-how. It just came with no individuals can be allowed to contest nationally. So that's why this policy, this amendment was just passed. There was no problem because it won't harm. It won't change anything. You know, the only thing that will change will that all MPs, all National Assembly people are not only from parties. They are also from independent candidates. You know, so now you need a new electoral system, but politicians in this country should work really. ANC, I know that there is also advantage of resources, you know, and being there. So they already have established their structures everywhere. But you cannot want to remove a party in power that exists in all municipalities across the country. I'm not sure. There are 700 and something, I think. You know, I'm not too sure. Then you have only, you are contesting in one province. You are contesting Joburg. You cannot have a party based on Joburg, Metro, and you want to take out from power a party that is spread across the country. So oppositions are playing. That is why I'm saying they cannot remove ANC. They are weak. ANC needs people that are working on the ground, not laptop politicians.
Do you think even the EFF?
They are trying to work, but they have not spread across. They should contest every municipality.
This, especially with this campaign,
million members. Yes, no, those are very good campaigns, and other parties, I think they should learn. You know, they should learn. They may not do it as the EFF does, but they should be on the ground. We stay here, Harankua. We have not seen the strength of the red berets here. You know, they are reasonably weak than seeing them somewhere else. You know, so why? Because you don't have cadres that want to work. You have cadres that want to eat. You know, until you have people who want to take pains of working first before eating. They say the old adage, to live like a king, you must work like a slave. But to our people of this generation, it's different. It's vice versa. So opposition is very weak. The manner in which the ANC has been going into one scandal to the next, the manner in which it is so divided, you don't have opposition that can take ANC out. That's why ANC, people are saying it cleans itself out. It survived many splits. But it's not because it is strong, but it is because the opposition is weak. You know, if the opposition was not weak, during the time of Cope, a strong opposition would have emerged and taken over. During the time of Cope, these problems don't start now. They go back to the time of Cope, where there was a clear, fierce contest between Thabo Mbeki and Jacob Zuma. And only to find that actually here, the fight was not even ideological. Those things they were telling us, radical economic transformation, this one is a man of the masses, this one is aloof, those are just terms. These people are the same. The RET faction and the CR17 faction are the same. These are people who want to take power and dispense patronage. The only difference is that Ramaphosa is seen to dispense patronage to his white friends and to his white group, to his white bosses. Jacob Zuma was seen as a person who would take power and dispense patronage to black people. But did all black people benefit? Will all black people benefit? Of course no. And that is why some did not support him. Because only him and his friends chowed with the Guptas. You know, but the rest of the other people were not chowing. And that is why they supported Ramaphosa to overthrow him. So at the end of the day, we need to learn that politics is about food. Frans Fanon says, the essence of struggle
Mm.
is to access bread, or is to access land and have bread.
Yeah. People are not fighting for ideas.
No.
Yeah. They are fighting for material.
For food.
Yeah.
Let's just say for
Yeah.
food.
Yeah. Actually, is it America Cabra?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. So we need not really belabor the point. You know, people are calling themselves fighters. People call themselves, they are revolutionaries. They want economic freedom. But what happened at VBS? Why the money of poor people in Venda? Why the money of rural people, old people who worked for ages, for years? Why did it end into the pockets of those who claim economic freedom, of those who claim to fight for the local people, of those who fight for people, you know, not to be treated bad? So you can see that politicians in South Africa are the same. They are looking at their own personal interest.
Yeah.
They will do anything in their power to chow, even if it means selling one another for a paltry price. How many of the leaders now in cabinet switched sides from Zuma to Ramaphosa in the 11th hour? From Begi to Zuma on the 11th hour. So they are prepared to switch sides just for supper.
Yeah.
I know that if I vote this one, I'm going to get a job. And even when they recruit, they simply tell you that come with us, you'll be fine. You'll be sorted.
Well, on that note, Mr. Maake,
Yeah.
thanks very much for thought-provoking engagement as usual. And until our next engagement, where we'll be interrogating the budget passed by City of Tshwane. Until then, thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe and to like our videos in order to grow the community. I'm Frans Molefe Modise, and this is Tshwane Talk TV.
Thank you. Yes.